So, you've been seeing me do several videos about moving to the Lansing, Michigan area, and you've seen me do lots of research, giving you tons of info, tons of facts. And, you know, after seeing everything that I have researched, looked at, you guys, I'm gonna leave Lansing, Michigan now. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know why I'm deciding to stay here. And so, you know, probably within like the next few months, I'm gonna call it quits. I'm gonna pack up my bags and call it a day, and I'll be done with Lansing, Michigan. I'm leaving Lansing, Michigan. Okay, all right. Hopefully you didn't take me too seriously there. And if you've known me long enough, you do know I'm somebody that does like to joke. I am a prankster. I grew up as a prankster, okay? No, I am not leaving Michigan, but if you're looking to move here, I'm gonna be talking about the reasons people are leaving Lansing, Michigan. Could be some things for you to think about, and maybe some things that might be new to you. And be sure to stay tuned until the end, because I'm gonna talk with you about my own personal experience with crime in the area, because that's one of the reasons people are leaving. So you'll hear about my personal experience with crime. So I invite you to sit back, relax, and we're going to attack this Lansing bashing episode of Lansing, Michigan Life right now. Hey everybody, Troy Seifert here with the Capital Area Real Estate Specialist in the greater Lansing, Michigan area. I'm a realtor in this area, and we get phone calls from people who are watching the channel just like you, and people who are looking to relocate, people who are looking to buy or sell a home in the greater Lansing area. And if that's you, please look in the description below for all my contact information. You can call me, text me, email me, schedule a Zoom call with me, and do a one-on-one kind of face-to-face, virtual face-to-face sort of meeting. I would love to be able to speak with you and find out what your real estate goals are. And if this is your first time or your 50th time looking at my channel, please, 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 please like, subscribe, or ring the bell for any notifications so that you can be the first to be notified when a brand new episode of Lansing, Michigan Live goes live. And we are going live once or twice a week right now. So go ahead and do that, please, if you already haven't done so. All right, so if this is your first time seeing the channel, you might not get my sense of humor quite yet. You're probably going, oh, is he leaving Lansing, Michigan? Maybe you're from Lansing, Michigan, and you're like, man, I don't like Lansing, Michigan either, and I'm gonna love this video, and you were getting your popcorn, getting ready to watch this whole entire thing, okay? Don't get me wrong, I still love Lansing, Michigan. And no, I did not do this for clickbait, okay, whatsoever. This is an actual video about why people are leaving the Lansing, Michigan area. Now, Lansing in the latest census, when they took the population census in 2020, they found that only 17 people left the entire city of Lansing. So when I'm talking about Lansing here, I'm talking about Lansing City, which is around 117,000 people. Okay, so only 17 people left. If you want me to put that into perspective, out of all the cities in Michigan, when they did the population census, there were only 2 cities in Michigan that had population growth, and that was it. So Lansing pretty much broke even, and then there were more significant decreases from places like Ann Arbor, Detroit, other Michigan cities as well. So Lansing as a whole, they're doing pretty good. I mean, they're stabilizing pretty well. Now, granted, we're not like Dallas, Texas, like any of the major cities in Texas where people are going in droves, or we're not like some of the cities in Idaho where people are moving from California and going, you know, to Idaho. I hear like that is a hot spot for real estate. But we are stabilizing. Okay, so I did want to, before I got into the why people are leaving Lansing, Michigan, I did want to give you that tidbit and piece of information here, okay? So the first reason why people are leaving Lansing, Michigan, and this doesn't really come as a huge surprise, it's the cold weather. So number one reason probably for a lot of people, it's the cold weather. And people, you know, and I want to say, like, it's not just because people can't take cold. There are many people that have some debilitating diseases that make it incredibly difficult to be able to live in the Lansing, Michigan area. Some people might have extremely bad arthritis as well. It could be something that totally affects them. So, just keep that in mind with the cold weather, that it's not just because we're cold. Now, on average in our winters, we do average at the lowest. We average in the low teens or in single digits sometimes, but that's few and far between. We might have like a little cold spell here and there. And as far as snow goes, with the entire state of Michigan, we are actually one of the lowest in snowfall as far as like the urban cities. A lot of the other cities are closer to the lakes and they get a lot more lake effect. And if you saw my weather in Michigan or in Lansing, Michigan, I do talk about into more detail the cold weather and some of the statistics. So feel free to check out that video as well. So number one reason is the cold weather. Number two reason why people are leaving the Lansing, Michigan area is because of the high property taxes. And I've talked about this in many other videos, but again, this could be the first time that you're seeing my channel. So I had to kind of pretend like this might be and sometimes with repetition, maybe you'll after hearing it once and you hear it again and again and again, maybe it'll sink in. So Michigan has the third highest property taxes in the country, okay? If you were to live, and again, this is the city of Lansing. The city of Lansing has a millage anywhere from 61 mils to 65 mils. In the entire greater Lansing area, which is 500,000 people, the city of Lansing has the highest millage. So what does that mean for you? If you were to live in the city of Lansing and you were to buy a $100,000 house, okay? What they will do is they will assess the value of your home at $100,000, but then they'll take the state equalized value, they'll cut that in half, but then also they will create a taxable value. Now, this was something that was implemented in 1994. They had the Michigan Constitution created a law that Michigan tax increases could only increase by, or Michigan property taxes could only increase by 5% year to year unless a property was sold. Then everything kind of resets. So what that means is you have a assessed value, which is half of what the which is usually half of what they assess it at, and then you have a taxable value, which is sometimes less, sometimes it's about the same. It's not going to go any higher than that. So let's say you bought a $100,000 house and your taxable value was $50,000. Your taxes would be approximately a little bit over $3,000 for the year, and that's for a $100,000 house. So imagine if you went to $200,000 house. That would take your taxes to $6,000 for the year in the city of Lansing. Imagine if you went to $300,000. So you can kind of do the math there and see that in the Lansing, Michigan area, while we do have a lower purchase price per unit, the property taxes kind of make up for maybe a little bit of that shortage that you would see in the purchase price. I have people that have clients that have come from Tennessee, and they are saying that, like, yes, the property taxes in Tennessee are way less than they are in Michigan. But in the city of Lansing, they have the highest tax millage out of anywhere in the greater Lansing area. So something for you to keep in mind as you are looking at homes, and let's say you're looking in the city of Lansing, or even if you're looking in Meridian Township as well, or you're looking in any other city in the greater Lansing area, keep in mind that when you are looking on Zillow and you're checking out these great homes, they're going to probably show you a lower property tax than what you will end up paying when you purchase the property. And that's why you need to get with a trusted agent like myself, who's going to be able to point that out to you so you can have a realistic picture of what the property taxes would be. Also, loan officers can do that as well. So, just want you to keep that in mind with the property taxes, that just because Zillow shows this doesn't mean that this is what your property taxes will be. There is a reset the following year where you're going to probably see an increase in your property taxes more than likely. Okay. So again, high property taxes in our area is another reason why people are leaving Lansing. And then what they might end up doing is they might go to a suburb that has less tax millage, or they might leave the state. Whatever, they're relocating out of the state, or they're just going somewhere else in the greater Lansing area. It depends right there, right? Number 3, the reason why people are leaving the city of Lansing has to do with the income taxes in Lansing. So in the city of Lansing, if you live in the city of Lansing, you are going to pay a 1% income tax. So whatever salary you have, take 1% of that away, and that's what's also going to go towards, or that will be subtracted. Start. Number 3 is the income tax that Lansing City has. So the reason people are leaving is the income tax. If you live in the city of Lansing, you will have a 1% income tax. And I do talk about, can you afford Lansing? This is that's one of my videos that I have where I talk about some of the things you need to know when you move to Lansing, Michigan. This is one of the things that if you live in Lansing City, you are going to pay 1% of your salary in income tax as well. So not only do you have high property taxes, but you're also going to have to pay a 1% income tax in the city of Lansing. Okay, number 4 has to do with car insurance. And again, I have another video on going broke in Lansing and how high car insurance is in our area. Now, one thing that I will say with start. Okay, number 4 has to do with the car insurance in Lansing, Michigan. Now, if you look on my channel, you will see another video that I have called Going Broke in Lansing, where I speak more in depth about car insurance and the high car insurance rates we have in Michigan. Again, Michigan has the 3rd highest average of car insurance in the country. For a while, we were in the top 2. So the one thing about car insurance, though, that I want you to be aware of, just so that, because a lot of this is negative, right? So the worst rate for car insurance right now is actually in the Detroit area. If you're going to be in the downtown Detroit area, a lot of people just end up going without car insurance, which is illegal in the state of Michigan, by the way. You have to have car insurance, and people just can't afford it because of how high it is. So they had to do some sort of reform in Detroit. So Lansing is still high compared to the rest of the country, but it's not as high as Detroit, if that makes you feel any better. On average, a household will pay around $3,000 for the year if they have 2 cars. So that's a little, about $275 a month, depending on how new your car is and where your area is. And the city of Lansing, when I have looked, if you live in the city of Lansing, you will have a higher car insurance rate than living in some of the suburbs. So another reason why people might leave Lansing and go to a suburb, or just leave Michigan altogether because we have high car insurance rates. Another average I want to give you for car insurance is it's $4,500 a year for a household with 1 child driver. So around a little under $400 a month. It goes up about $120 a month if you have a child on your policy. Okay, number 5 has to do with the roads, our roads. Now, what I will tell you is this, is that over the last 5 years, I feel like our interstates have done quite well in being fixed. There's been a lot of projects and a lot of road projects. However, every single year, the state of Michigan has a goal of, this is for the entire state, they have a goal of fixing 13,500 miles of roads, okay? In 2023, they only fixed 6,000 for that year, so less than half. And I don't really know why. Honestly, like the county roads, they're getting all these high property taxes. There should be some budget, some good budgeting for that. So I don't necessarily know why the roads are just being neglected. Some people say it's because we don't have a toll road. Some people say it's because we don't have a higher sales tax. Some people are saying, oh, we should raise the gas tax here in Michigan to offset it. And they're trying to find ways to be able to help fix the roads, because there is a shortage. So what happens with the roads, because we have extreme climate differences, we have extremely cold winters, and then everything can thaw out, okay? There can be cracks in the road because of traffic as well going on them too, and then water can get inside of them. And then when it freezes again, the water freezes, and then all of a sudden below the concrete or the pavement that's there, then it separates and it creates a pothole. Now in Lansing, they are stating that this is according to TRIP, which is a nonprofit public transportation site, they say that they are estimating that around 40% of Lansing roads, Lansing City roads, are in poor condition. And again, like I said, the highways are in good condition, interstates, but when you get to like the downtown areas, I do feel like they need some work. They need some help. I feel like sometimes you're avoiding potholes as you're going around. The other factor, or the other thing that TRIP, which is an acronym, it's all in capital letters, TRIP, T-R-I-P, came, like another statistic that they talked about is that the average Michigan driver spends around $2,000 a year for vehicle maintenance because of bad roads. So just imagine you go over a pothole, you go down in it, your suspension probably messes with your shocks, your struts, your tires, okay? Also, they talk about, and this is really interesting when I read it. They say that because of the construction and all the detours, you're having to spend more on gas to go around, which that's a really, so they say on average, it's $1,900 a year that Lansing, Michigan people are paying in addition for their car maintenance due to the roads being bad. So just another statistic for you to think about in regards to the roads. All right, so I'll stop there with the roads. Number 6 are the schools. Now, granted, I like to use factual things. I'm a realtor. I'm not trying to steer you away, but I'm also here to give you facts, okay? So on niche.com, I've used this site many times, niche.com, the rating for schools is a C-. It's a C-. And that's one of the lowest rated schools within our Lansing school system, with all the suburbs like Okemos and East Lansing and DeWitt. So back in the year 2000, Lansing school systems had roughly 18,000 students in them. Right now, there's about a little over 10,000 students in the Lansing School District. It's the largest school district in the greater Lansing area. It's more than double the amount of students in any school district, but it's gone down in the amount of students that have gone there, about 8,000 students over the last 20 years. Why has that been the case? Well, part of it is school of choice. If you haven't seen my top 5 school systems in Lansing, I do talk about school of choice and what that means, but in a nutshell, people can choose whatever school they want within the state of Michigan even, but so in Lansing, that same rule applies. And if you're close to one of the other schools in the suburbs, a lot of people just choose to take their kids to that school. And so that is something that has affected it. And they've had to close one of the high schools because of it as well too, because of lack of students. They didn't really have a need for it anymore. So I say this, there could be some people from Lansing watching this, and I'm not trying to bash the schools, I'm just giving you the facts. If people here are watching this channel to be able to see what the school system's like, maybe it's a challenge for those on the Lansing School Board and those people who live in the city of Lansing to see what can we try to do about it. What is there that we can try to do? Because now we have we have people stating what the facts are, and it's being spread out to other people who aren't a part of Lansing. So I know that sometimes through these channels that people can see this and be challenged to make a change to Lansing schools. I had friends that went through the Lansing public school systems and had a very positive experience when they were in high school. And so what can Lansing schools do to try to improve that? I'm not trying to steer anybody away from going to Lansing schools. I'm stating the facts here, okay? Number 7 has to do with income in Lansing, So what I'm gonna state about income is this, is that, and I'm gonna keep it kind of short here. So the average income in Lansing, East Lansing metropolitan area is just shy of about $30 an hour on average. And in the Lansing area, like if I were to just make it in like a salary for a average household in Lansing City proper, this isn't Okemos, this isn't including DeWitt or any of the other suburbs, just Lansing City, the average median household income is $52,000 a year. And the average median household income in the nation is roughly over $80,000. So people might be leaving Lansing to be able to have more money. Maybe they got a better job offer somewhere else. Maybe they, maybe they have more money and they can afford a bigger house somewhere else. But the median income is $52,000, and that was in 2023 for a Lansing area household. So because we're below that national average, people, of course, money is an important thing. So being able to go somewhere where you're going to have a higher amount of income is important, and a reason why people might be leaving Lansing. And then the last one, and I haven't broached the subject. Why? Because as a realtor, like this is something that we've become very cautious about talking about, but I feel like I had to bring it up, is crime. The last reason why people are leaving Lansing is crime. And so I'm going to be talking on a very factual basis on this. This is not my opinion. This is not me steering you out, but this is on a public website called areavibes.com. It is a very good website showing accurate information. I've looked on multiple websites, but this one seemed to have the most accurate information because they didn't have a third party trying to sell you a security system. So I wanted to look at a website that didn't have that because I feel like they're just trying to sell you something based off of fear. So the grade for crime in the Lansing, Michigan area on areavibes.com is an F. And this was in 2022. So in 2022, in regards to the national average, Lansing was rated 71% higher than the national average for the crime rate. Now this crime rate includes violent crimes and property crimes. And so that's what they're basing this off of. So in violent crimes, though, if we were to take the crimes and split it off into two different segments, the violent crime segment was 246% higher than the national average. If you were to take property crimes, that was 38% higher than the national average. So these are all stats. These are all things that anybody can look at and see. This is, again, for the entire area of Lansing City, okay? Now let me talk with you, because I think I told you earlier I was going to talk to you about my own personal experience in Lansing City. So I lived in Lansing city limits, and it was in 2008. And I lived by the airport, lived there for 7 years. And I felt perfectly safe in my neighborhood where I was at. The only instance I had, and again, hopefully you guys can see, like, I'm being honest with you. Like, I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything. I want you guys to have all the information you possibly can have. So the only instance that I had when I lived there was I left my car unlocked in my detached garage. And I looked into my car one day and I'm like, well, this looks like my glove compartment has been gone through. But I think the person was looking just for change because they didn't steal anything in the car. They just opened my glove compartment and I left my car unlocked. And in the 7 years I lived in Lansing City, that was the only incident that I had. Now, some of you could be watching this and going, well, you should say zero. Like, there should be nothing. There should be no problems. I have some people that work in my office that stated that, hey, they really haven't had any run-ins and they live close to the downtown area. And so they feel perfectly safe. And one of them is a single female. So she lives in downtown Lansing. I say this to all of you because data can show a very, you can look at data and be like, okay, well then I don't want to live here. But in personal experience, when you actually have people that experience it, it doesn't necessarily mean that, oh man, there's crime happening all the time, okay? That's where the research on your end comes into play. Because if you find a house, there are websites that you can look at, such as areavibes.com or other crime websites that would be able to show you, if you put a certain street, what does the map look like for crime in that area? So that's completely up to you on what you want to do. But Lansing, in regards to crime, I hope that they are able to clean it up a little bit more and that hopefully things improve over time. So again, I thank you for coming to my channel here and helping me being able to, just kind of dissect what the cons of living in Lansing, Michigan are, and hopefully it was really informational for you. And if you like what you saw, please like, subscribe, or ring the bell for any notifications so that, again, you'll be the first to be notified when a new episode of Lansing, Michigan Life goes live. And if you're looking to buy, sell, invest in the greater Lansing area, hopefully I could be your guy, and hopefully you would be able to contact me as your realtor. My contact information is in the description below, so please call me, text me, email me, or schedule a Zoom. I do have a Zoom link that you can click on, and it goes through my calendar, and we can be able to schedule a meeting that way as well. Whether that's 9 days from now, 90 days, or 9 months from now, it's always good to have a talk. So until next time, start. So until next time, take care and start. So until next time, take care and make it a great day.